Okay, 8.5 problem 2, you're still dealing with the sum and difference, but instead of the angle being in degrees, this time the angle is in radians. So, just to kind of give you some idea of radians, you need pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2. This particular angle is pi over 12. So I'm going to convert all of those to 12s. Pi over 6 would be 2 pi over 12. Pi over 4, 3 pi over 12. Pi over 3, 4 pi over 12. Pi over 2, 6 pi over 12. And we want some combination that's going to leave us with 1/12. A lot of things you could do. I did 3 pi over 12 minus 2 pi over 12. You could have done 4 pi over 12 minus 3 pi over 12. Doesn't matter, you still kind of end up with the same thing regardless of the two that you choose. So I did choose the 3 pi over 12 over the 2 pi over 12, so that's the pi over 4 over the pi over 6. Take the expansion formula that was there. This is it, and everywhere there is a U, what was my first angle? Pi over 4. Where there's a U, I'm going to put a pi over 4. Where there's a V, I'm going to put a pi over 6. Okay, then we want to find the sines and cosines. The sine of 45 is the square root of 2 over 2. The cosine of 30 is the square root of 3 over 2. The cosine of 45, square root of 2 over 2, and the sine of 30 is 1/2. Did the multiplication before you subtract. So the square root of 2 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 6 over 4. The square root of 2 times 1 is the square root of 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. Since they have a common denominator, you can just write the numerator on top with the 1 denominator. So the sine of pi over 12 is equal to the fraction, the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2, all over 4.